I'm going to use all these lenses. So we're going to start with the 15.
Yeah.
Autofocus, right?
Yes.
Is that cool or what?
Wow.
I know, I love it. Hey, it's Walter Van Dusen. We are at the Imaging USA 2025. I'm here with...
This is Aaron with Sigma.
How long you been with Sigma?
This would be year 8 for me on the tech rep team.
Look at so I got the tech rep guy.
That's right, yeah. We do field support.
So I asked Aaron, does Sigma make any wide-angle lenses?
Boy, do we, yeah. Right now we're looking through the most recent of the bunch, the 15 1.4 DG DN Art. This is a fisheye lens. It's the only fisheye lens in our lineup currently. It gives you a 180-degree field of view with a 1.4 aperture. So this is really meant to give you an immersive field of view, and for low-light environments like primarily astrophotography.
So if you don't have a lot of space in your YouTube studio booth, it's sort of like gives you a wide angle, correct?
Exactly. So we're going to be moving on to the 24-70 2.8 DG DN Art version 2. All right, so the 15 1.4 fisheye is going to have a typical Art series build at this point for the mirrorless lineup. It's a metal body, it's fully weather sealed. You've got aperture control on the lens if you want it, with third click detents. You can also declick that aperture ring for stepless transitions during video. You also have an A setting for electronic control via the camera body, and you can also lock that ring either in A for electronic control, or you can lock it in direct control mode so it doesn't go into electronic control. This lens also has an Arca-Swiss compatible tripod collar integrated that you can rotate 360 degrees or remove it if you want to. This lens also being kind of purpose-built for astrophotography and has a pretty unique feature to our lineup, a manual focus lock. So when you're shooting the stars at night, when we're using manual focus, once you have focus set in your scene, you can set that manual focus lock, and even if you accidentally hit that focus ring, focus will not move until you unlock that. Because this lens has enough curvature on the front element that we can't use standard threaded filters, we do also have a provision for a rear gel filter on the mount.
Talk a little bit about that.
So yes, this would allow you to use global effect filters like a neutral density if you wanted to slow down your shutter, or a straight polarizer. And this also allows you to use much smaller filters. You can see the rear mount there is going to be quite a bit smaller than the front side of the lens.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Our next lens, give me a second.
Also have Okay, and the next in the lineup is the 24-70 f2.8 DG-DN Art version 2. This is a revision of a lens that's been in our lineup for a few years. Over the previous generation, this lens is going to be smaller, lighter weight. It also incorporates a newer autofocus motor, a linear motor versus a stepping motor in the original version, so faster autofocus transitions and faster tracking.
This is your flagship lens, right?
This is one of the most popular. It's a very...
Is this the Art series?
It is.
Art series, tell me about the Art series.
So the Art series is not necessarily above or below the Contemporary Sports series. The idea behind naming those families was to make it easier for end users to understand what our goals were in designing that lens. The Art series lenses were designed to be no compromise, all out, best possible optical quality and build. So these are metal bodies, they're fully weather sealed, they're fast aperture, either 1.4 in the primes or 2.8 with the zooms. And actually all the lenses we're looking at today fall within the Art series.
That's pretty big. So you can go all Art and have a wide variety of lenses.
Within the Art series, you can go from 14 on the wide side out to 105 on the long end at the moment.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should know about that?
So other changes from the original 24-70, we now have aperture control on the lens itself, just like the 15 we were just looking at. Ability to click or declick and also lock that. And we added a second reprogrammable autofocus lock button that can be reassigned to any of the custom functions in the attached camera bodies menu.
Yeah, so like you can do like rack focusing quick.
Yeah, anything that the cameras, the attached camera will support.
Thank you very much. Hold up a second. Next lens.
It's going to be the 28 to 105 to... That was beautiful. So what else to the color point? Okay. So next up, we have the 28 to 45 f1.8 DG DNR. This is a unique lens in our line. This is really designed primarily for a video market. You have a little bit shorter zoom range than our kind of standard zooms of 24 to 70 or 28 to 105, but the trade-off is you have a much faster aperture. It's f1.8 versus 2.8. So another thing that makes this lens unique comparatively is that this is internally zooming and internally focusing. So you have no externally moving parts, your weight doesn't shift, so it makes it super easy to put on a gimbal or in a matte box rig and not have to reset everything anytime you change your focal length. This lens also has aperture control on the lens if you want it. You can also declick that aperture in for stepless transitions while you're recording video. It uses our newest generation of linear focus motors, so it keeps transitions quiet and quick. And it also has 2 reprogrammable autofocus lock buttons that can be reprogrammed to any of the custom functions that the attached camera body will support.
And you said this lens also has that where you can go back to you have a memory zoom.
You could program it to that.
No, I thought
the physical zoom, no, it is.
No, I thought there was something special for focusing. Was that this lens? Oh, you were talking about those two.
Yeah, so the autofocus lock button can be programmed to a number of custom functions. That kind of depends on what camera body you're using.
So if I want to rack focus, can I have this focus on this?
If your camera body supports that feature, then yes, yeah. That depends a little bit on which camera you're attached to.
But that could be an option with film updates.
For sure.
And next. So, yeah.
All right, next up we have the 28 to 105 f2.8 DG DNR. This gives you another counterpoint in the kind of standard zoom range option. The benefit over the 24 to 70 is the longer range. You have 105, so for events, wedding, portraiture, that longer focal length is going to give you just more flexibility. And the fact that you don't lose any light transmission is a great option here. Just like the 24 to 70, you have a metal body, it's fully weather sealed. You have an aperture control ring here on the lens if you want it. You can lock it in A for electronic control if you want to keep it through the camera body. And you can declick that aperture ring for stepless transitions during video. And just like the 24 to 70, we also have 2 reprogrammable autofocus lock buttons that can be programmed to any of the custom functions that your attached camera body will support.
A second. Yeah, fish eye again, please.
Sure. Did you want to do the overview of this lens on its own?
We did that already?
No, not the 50. The last one we did was the 28 to 25.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. All right, and then last up in the new releases from the ART series, we have the 50mm f1.2 DG DNRs. So this joins the existing 50mm f1.4. What really sets us apart, obviously, the aperture value is faster, so you're going to get better light transmission and then more control over depth of field. One of my favorite things about this lens is it is almost indistinguishable in terms of size and weight over the 51.4. So it is a little bit higher price for that faster aperture, but you don't have the usual size and weight penalty by going to a faster aperture. The 1.2 also uses our newer linear motors, where the 51.4 uses a stepping motor. So you'll have faster transitions in focus and faster autofocus tracking.
So, hey, this is Walter Van Usen. We are at the Imaging USA in Dallas, Texas. We are in the Sigma booth with...
This is Aaron on the Tech Rep team.
And we're going to be talking about the newest...
We have a couple of the new releases from the ART series that came out last year.
And the widest?
The widest would be the 15 1.4 DG DNR fisheye.
And you have one that's sort of like video-centric.
Sure, they can all be used for video. The one that's designed kind of most...
I didn't say they weren't. Every lens can be used for video, but there's sort of like one that's maybe geared a little bit towards video.
Sure, yeah, the 28 to 45 f1.8. And what makes this one really particularly well suited for video, that faster aperture is going to give you more control over depth of field. It's a little bit shorter zoom range, but covers a lot of the territory that we're going to spend a lot of time in. And this lens is both internally zooming and internally focusing. So you have no shift in your exterior dimensions or weight, which makes it really easy to put on a gimbal or in a matte box setup. This lens also has aperture control, just like all the other ART series. This can also be declicked for stepless transitions while recording video. And then you've got 2 reprogrammable autofocus lock buttons that can be customized to any of the attached camera body's custom functions.
I'm also an attendee at Imaging USA, so I'm lucky I have this really nice rig. I asked Aaron, what lens do you think would be really good on my FX3 rolling interview stand?
This is one of my favorites, the 16 to 28 2.8 DGDN Contemporary. What I love about this lens, it gives you a super flexible wide-angle field of view when you want to get more context of what's in front of you. It's 2.8 throughout, so it's also really flexible in low-light situations. Or if you want a little bit of depth of field control on that wide-angle side, and it's super compact. It's a gorgeous, lightweight lens. It's easy to travel around with. You can use threaded filters on this, which is not always the case with the wide-angle zooms. And yeah, it's one of the lenses I use most frequently.
That was a bonus coverage with me and Aaron at Imaging USA. If you do video interviews at trade shows and you travel all over the world to do these, weight is an issue.
Yeah.
You have to watch your weight. Even when you go to Scandinavia, they even weigh your carry-on bag.
Yes, of course.
They do, they do. I think so. So this is, how long has this been out?
This lens has been out,
Well, this is roughly.
I want to say 22.
Oh, so this is a true and tried lens that's been out for a while. Do a lot of people talk about this lens?
Honestly, I think a lot of people focus on the art series within our lineup, and this is a contemporary series lens. It doesn't tend to get quite as much fanfare as the art series.
So we're going to give this a little fanfare. Little fanfare. This is the after show with Walter and Aaron at Imaging USA, talking about one of Aaron's favorite lenses. What's the price point roughly on this?
This lens goes for $899.
Yeah, for $899, you have a 2.8, 1628 sharp lens, not weather sealed, but it's seasonal.
It'll have a gasket at the mount, but it's not fully weather sealed forward of that.
It's not an art lens, but it's a good, for me to do trade show interviews, and I'm pretty close now. Remember, I had to go off in the distance. All right, this is the Sigma 1628 2.8.
DGDN Contemporary.
Thank you very much. Bonus coverage with Walter and Aaron. Thank you.